just love football, and I wonder how much of a football is thrown during a play. Let's see if we could find out. During a play, the football was thrown 2/3 down the field. The next play, the football was thrown 1/3 down the field. Between the two plays, how much of the field was covered? Please take this time to complete this problem with your own work and answer. So like I had read, during a play, the football was thrown 2/3 down the field. The next play, the football was thrown 1/3 down the field. Between the two plays, how much of the field was covered? We know that we are dealing with the fractions 2/3 of the field and 1/3 of the field. We also know that this is an addition problem because it's between the two plays. So what we can do, we have 2/3 of the field, and in the next play, it was 1/3 of the field. We set this up in equation. We add the top numbers. We get 3/3. We don't need to change the denominator because they are similar. 3/3 also equals 1. So we know that one whole field was covered between the two plays.
During a play, the football was thrown 1/8 down the field. The next play, the football was thrown 1/2 down the field. Between the two plays, how much of the field was covered? I would like you to work independently on this problem as well, and we will come back to the video when you are finished with the problem. One thing I would like you to look for, though, is what is so different about the fraction 1/8 and 1/2 than the problem before. Pause the video now and continue when the work is complete. Thank you for working on that problem. Like I said before, I really wanted us to look at the fractions 1/8 and 1/2. And this being so because when we have 1/8 and 1/2, and we are dealing with an addition problem because we are looking for between the two plays how much of the field was covered, we need to have a common denominator like we had in the first problem. 8 and 2 don't seem pretty common to me. A common denominator is when both of the numbers in the bottom of the fraction are the same. And to me, 8 and 2 are not the same. But we can get to 8 from 2. So I would set up a problem like this. We know that we were trying to get to the common denominator of 8. We already have 8 in the first one, so we just had to bring over the 8. And if we brought over the 8 at the bottom, we're just going to bring over the 1 at the top. Now here, how can we get from 2 to 8? When we times 2 by 4, we get to 8. So I want to do the same thing to the top. We take 1 times 4 to get 4 eighths. Our new problem, boys and girls, is 4 eighths and 1/8. So if we're still trying to figure out the addition problem between the two plays, how much of the field was covered, I would set up my problem just like I did the last time. 1/8 plus 4 eighths equals blank of how much of the field was covered. And we know when we have a common denominator, we can simply just add across 5 and carry the denominator over 8. And our answer is 5/8 of the field was covered.
The Dallas Cowboys quarterback, Dak Prescott, ran 3/4 of a mile at conditioning practice. The next day, he ran half of a mile. How many miles did the quarterback run altogether in 2 days? Now remember when working on this problem individually that we need to look at the denominators of both of these numbers when we're adding them. Take this time now to work on this problem individually. Did you notice that you needed a common denominator to solve this problem? Our two fractions that we have is 3/4 and 1/2. The denominators are 4 and 2, which aren't similar, but remember from the last problem how we can change one denominator to equal the other. I see here that 2 can be multiplied into 4. So I'm going to move the 4 over in this problem and find a way to change this one into 4 as well. I can make 2 into 4 by multiplying it by 2. So I'll do the same to the to the top number and make that also a 2. I'm going to move the 3 over, just like that. So now that I've made my denominators common, I can add this just like we added the other problems as well. So I will take 3/4 plus 2/4 and add these together. The denominator will stay 4, and I'll add the 3 and the 2, which makes a 5. When we're looking at fractions, we can see that 5 is bigger than 4. And in most fractions, the number on the top should not be bigger than the bottom number. In this case, we can change this and take the 4 into the 5. 4 will go into 5 one time. That leaves 1 left on the top because we subtract 4 from 5. This leaves a remainder of 1/4. A number that looks like this is called a mixed number, and it happens when the number on the top is bigger than the denominator. Now that we've solved this problem, we know that Dak Prescott ran 5/4 or 1 1/4 mile all together in 2 days. Both of these answers are right. They're just written in a different way.